In the summer of 1402, a storm unlike any other swept across the plains of Ankara. The seemingly unstoppable Ottoman Sultan, Bayezid the Thunderbolt, met his match in the legendary Timur, also known as Tamerlane. The Battle of Ankara wasn't just a military defeat. It was a cataclysm that shattered the Ottoman Empire. Bayezid was captured, and his vast domain, stretching from the Balkans to Anatolia, was suddenly left without a leader. This power vacuum plunged the empire into a decade of brutal civil war, a period known as the Ottoman Interregnum. It was a fight for survival, a bloody family feud between four of Bayezid's sons, each believing they were the rightful heir to a broken throne. In the immediate aftermath of the battle, Timur didn't dismantle the Ottoman state entirely. Instead, he recognized three of Bayezid's sons as regional rulers, a classic divide and conquer strategy. The eldest, Suleiman had managed to escape the battlefield with the imperial treasury. He crossed the straits and established his capital in Edirne, the heart of the Ottoman European territories, known as Rumelia. With the treasury and the support of the Balkan Christian vassals, Suleiman declared himself sultan. He was a pragmatist, a diplomat signing treaties with the Byzantine Empire and Venice to secure his western flank. To many, he seemed like the most likely successor, controlling the wealthiest and most established part of the empire. Meanwhile, back in the shattered Anatolian heartland, another brother, Suleiman, set up his court in the old Ottoman capital of Bursa. He was recognized by Timur as the ruler of western Anatolia. Shah's position was precarious. He was caught between his brothers, a geographical sandwich of ambition. He tried to consolidate his power, but his authority was constantly challenged. The third brother, Mehmed I, was the youngest of the main contenders. He had also fought at Ankara and escaped. He established his power base in Amasya, in north-central Anatolia. Unlike Suleiman, who relied on diplomacy and existing structures, Mehmed's path was one of relentless warfare. He was a warrior, embodying the traditional Ghazi spirit that had built the empire. His first target wasn't his powerful brother in Europe, but the one closest to home, Shah. The clash between Mehmed and Shah was the first major act of the Interregnum. It was a grueling struggle for control of Anatolia. They fought several battles, with fortunes shifting back and forth. Shah initially gained the upper hand, even capturing Bursa, but Mehmed was tenacious. He regrouped, rallied his forces, and in 1404, he decisively defeated Shah's army. Shah fled, becoming a fugitive, trying to find allies to continue the fight. He was eventually cornered and killed, leaving Mehmed as the undisputed master of the Anatolian portion of the empire. One brother was down, two remained. Now let's not forget the fourth brother, Musa. He had been captured alongside his father at Ankara. After Timur's death, he was released and entrusted with escorting his father Bayezid's body back to Bursa. Musa was a fiery and populist leader. He was deeply resentful of his brother Suleiman, who he felt had abandoned their father and cozied up to Christian powers. Musa allied himself with his brother Mehmed, who saw him as a useful tool to weaken Suleiman's hold on Rumelia. Mehmed gave Musa an army, and in 1409, Musa crossed into the Balkans to challenge Suleiman directly. Musa's arrival in Rumelia ignited a new phase of the war. He was a champion of the common Turkish soldier and the Ghazi warriors, who felt neglected by Suleiman's diplomatic and pro-vassal policies. Musa's populist message resonated powerfully. He promised to restore the old ways, to wage holy war, and to end the humiliating treaties Suleiman had signed. His support grew rapidly. The conflict between Suleiman and Musa was fierce. Initially, Suleiman's veteran army and his control of the state apparatus gave him an advantage. He pushed Musa back several times, but Suleiman had a critical weakness: his own character. He had grown complacent, given to luxury and drink, which alienated many of his commanders and soldiers. His arrogance blinded him to the growing threat Musa posed. The turning point came in 1411, as Suleiman was enjoying a feast in his capital, Edirne. Musa launched a surprise attack. Suleiman's army, disaffected and poorly led, melted away. Many defected to Musa's side. Suleiman was forced to flee, attempting to reach Constantinople, but he was captured by villagers and handed over to Musa's men. In a grim conclusion to his reign, Suleiman was executed on Musa's orders. The ruler of Rumelia, once the most powerful of the brothers, was gone. Two brothers down, one to go. With Suleiman eliminated, Musa was now the Sultan of the Balkans. He quickly reversed his brother's policies, launching aggressive campaigns against the Byzantines and his Serbian vassals. His harsh rule and populist zeal, which had been so effective in gaining power, now became his undoing. He alienated the very same Turkish elites and Balkan lords who had once supported Suleiman. They saw him as erratic and dangerously radical. They needed a more stable, predictable leader, and they looked east to the last remaining brother, Mehmed. The final act of this decade-long tragedy was set. The Byzantine emperor and the Serbian despot, both under siege by Musa, reached out to Mehmed for an alliance. They offered to ferry his army across the straits to challenge Musa. Mehmed, a master strategist, accepted. He had consolidated his rule in Anatolia and was now ready to make his final bid for the entire empire. The confrontation between Mehmed and Musa was more than just a battle between two brothers. It was a clash of two different visions for the Ottoman future. Musa represented a radical, populist, and aggressively expansionist path. Mehmed represented a more pragmatic, centralizing, and statesman-like approach. He understood that to rebuild the empire, he needed to balance conquest with diplomacy and unite the various factions, not alienate them. In 1413, the armies of Mehmed and Musa met at the Battle of Amerlu in modern-day Bulgaria. By this point, Musa's support had collapsed. His top commanders and their troops deserted him on the battlefield, flocking to Mehmed's banner. Seeing that his cause was lost, Musa fled, but like his brothers before him, he could not escape his fate. He was found, captured, and executed. With Musa's death, the Ottoman Interregnum came to an end. After 11 years of bloodshed, fratricide, and chaos, Mehmed was the sole surviving son of Bayezid. He was now Sultan Mehmed I, the undisputed ruler of a reunified Ottoman Empire. Mehmed's victory was a monumental achievement. He didn't just win a war. He saved an empire from the brink of total collapse. His reign was dedicated to healing the wounds of the civil war. He restored central authority, rebuilt state institutions, and pursued a policy of peace and consolidation, earning him the title the Restorer or the second founder of the Ottoman Empire. He stitched the fragmented pieces of his father's realm back together, laying a new, stronger foundation upon which his successors, like his son Murad II and grandson Mehmed the Conqueror, would build one of the greatest empires in history. The storm of the Interregnum had passed, and from its wreckage the Ottoman phoenix had risen again, stronger than before. Thanks so much for watching. This period is one of the most dramatic in Ottoman history, a real Game of Thrones-style struggle for power. If you enjoyed this dive into the past, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more epic history stories. See you in the next one.